What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are officially on day 2 here at Slimeball's new garage, and we're going to be doing some work to the CB7 Honda Accord. Now, if you guys haven't seen the last video, we made our trip from NorCal down to SoCal, kind of explaining why we are out here. And the first thing on the list to do is to get this car out before we get cracking on Slimeball's all-wheel drive EK sedan. So Slimeball has been working on this car while I was inside sleeping / editing a little bit to get some upload going, and he's been out here working on the charge pipe. If you guys haven't seen his videos, if you guys haven't subscribed to him, be sure to check out his channel. He actually started working on the hot parts already with his car, and now he's working his way towards the intercooler. And he kind of put a pause on a lot of this stuff because he was waiting for the owner, like, I guess, first look to see if he likes it, and then if he does, continue forward. So in part of like making more progress with the car, he is just working his way to the intercooler. And now that I'm here, I'm actually going to be helping him with some of the fabrication stuff to this car. So right now on his end, on his channel, he's working on the charge pipe while I'm going to be tackling the up pipes on this car. So the owner is not actually going to go down, he's going to go up. But quickly, before I even get deep into the fabrication, this is a CB7 Honda Accord. I know you guys have been asking about Honda Accord stuff for a while. This is one of the reasons why I came here earlier, because I'm going to be here for quite some time. It's because I wanted a little bit of CB7 content to the channel, and this actually belongs to the homie Jose. Now, when I came down here back in March, Jose is the guy who tows the car, and he's done some favor for him. So he's returning the favor back to, get his car all buttoned up so he can get this car ready for the dyno as well too. But Jose has been trying to get this car up and going, and I've been helping him on Instagram to get his car to fire over, and then we finally did. So now that it's up and running, it is ready for the next phase, which is all the fabrication stuff. Obviously, this car is K-swap, and it's obviously going turbo. So CB7 Honda Accord, man, here you go. We're gonna do some fab work. It's gonna go up pipes, and probably not on my channel because I'm gonna be home by the time this thing gets on the dyno. But if you guys want to see this thing possibly on the dyno, you guys can go ahead and subscribe to Slimeball. And if you guys haven't seen, also, man, shout out to the homie Nomis Industries. You know what I'm saying? Hit them up for all your ECU needs. But anyways, guys, we're gonna get cracking. I'm not gonna show you guys every little bit of piece of this because this is a job we need to get done, and also it's just fabrication stuff we've done many and plenty times on the channel. We're gonna do the hot parts on my end, show a little progress update on the intercooler, and if you guys want to follow Slimeball and watch the intercooler and a little bit of snippet with me working on the exhaust piping, let's get cracking, dude. So guys, Slimeball was working on the intercooler piping. I'll show you guys in a second what he came up with while I was in the background cutting some pie cuts to make a 90 to cut a teardrop. So this car is going up pipes, and he already has the teardrop for the down pipe, which is this guy right here. Unfortunately, the second teardrop that he brought is not the size of the 44mm wastegate, which is like 1 3/4. The one that he brought over is a 2.5, which is typically for a 60mm wastegate. So this is not going to work with the 44 because obviously look at the pipe size difference, right? So we're not going to be using this. So typically a teardrop is cut out of a 90 piece, or depending on the angle you're looking for, you can probably use different angle than a 90, but typically it's cut somewhere here, if you can kind of look right there, right? So because we're not trying to wait for a teardrop for the 44 to show up or spending more money to buy a teardrop, we pretty much took straights we cut a bunch of pies. We're gonna weld them together, make that 90, and then get that teardrop cut out of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just tack all of these guys over here so we can get that teardrop drawn now and then cut out, so we can kind of figure out where our up pipes are gonna land over there near the cowl area. I don't know if you guys can see, but we're shooting for something like this. Something like that.
We're good. Just needs to fix down with a cover right there.
Yes.
Good.
All right, guys, so this is what Brian has been up to. The charge pipe is sort of kind of ran into place, and I think this is the final form of the engine bay side. So 90 off the intake manifold, 45 goes through the frame right there. He did chop out this section just a little bit, not crazy overkill. You can kind of see I already had a small hole here, but he chopped it open. We'll clean it up, we'll spray it up. But from the turbo, originally it was face downward, and the piping and coupler was actually sitting on top of that that stud. So he moved it up this way, which actually works out because you have access to all of this down here now. So 45 off the turbo, 45 off the coupler, going down 45 to clock it towards the core support, and there's that second pipe. So this is both gonna have a 90 degree, and it's just gonna be a tiny 45 off the cooler on both sides to kind of point it in to the piping. So Brian's making do with all of this, and soon it'll be all welded up. So right now, the thing that's kind of like stopping the track between us two is he's doing aluminum, I'm doing steel, but there's only one welding machine. So he's already got a bunch of pies, so he's gonna go ahead and like kind of puzzle the pieces together and tape it up with high temp tape while we switch over to steel, so I can tack up that pie cut and get that teardrop cut out. So right now I'm actually gonna kind of figure out the angle of the teardrop for the down pipe, or in this case up pipe. I'm gonna find that angle and try to cut it the same. So let's go ahead and do that quick. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm having issue welding this 90 degree pie cut. It seems to be burning the amperage super duper hot as soon as I start the arc. For some reason, Slimeball was able to weld before, and he was able to do partial of the downpipe, but for some reason it's just burning through as soon as I freaking start the arc, and it is just blowing through all of the pies. And I kind of stopped because I don't want to ruin it. Slimeball has been working in the background. He got the rest of the pieces for the intercoolers to the charge pipe. So right here on the top and the bottom, he took a 90, cut it in half, made it to two 45s. This one right here, literally a 45 right into the coupler. And then this one on the bottom, because it was a short 45, he had to add a little straight piece in there to compensate the gap. That right there going to the turbo. That right there is ready to weld onto the intercooler, and the couplers are accessible from the inside to remove the pipe if need be. So this thing is coming out freaking awesome. So now just a quick little preparation, and I'm gonna figure something out with that. So Slimeball is gonna go ahead and do all the aluminum stuff, and I'm just gonna continue with the up pipe. So this one is pretty straightforward since Slimeball already added this long piece on, right? The teardrop is gonna sit somewhere here. Obviously this is super long, it's gonna be right into the shock tower. So we're gonna scoot it back somewhere like that. We are gonna use this 90, which is gonna point it up, right? So it's gonna be something like that. And I'm angling it instead of running it straight because it's too close to the cowl and the firewall. So I am gonna turn it like that with some teardrops to make some room between the pipe and the firewall. What I'm actually gonna do is, before I even cut this back, I'm gonna take this off, put it on the horizontal bandsaw, and we're gonna cut a bunch of pies out of this straight section because you do need some legs to clamp, right? And then cut a bunch of pies, and then we're gonna cut back however far we need to go because of the leg of this 90, right? So that's like almost a foot long right there. So we're gonna cut some pies, we're gonna trim it back, and then try to configure our up pipe here, and you know, try to figure out the machine before we start tacking everything back in. Maybe I'll just tape everything up and then start messing with the dump tube. We'll see. Good, was good.
Not much. How's it going?
Chilling, bro. What's going on?
Oh yeah, been seeing your videos forever, man.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
And, I mean, years.
I always tell people, you know, when it comes down to mounting it onto the hinges, overstep your original hinge a little bit, open it up a little bit so you have a little bit of leg.
Yeah.
Because this is aftermarket. I'll pull it out and put a new ribbon on it.
All right, guys, so these clips are literally hours in between. Earlier I was mocking this up, and then a customer actually came through to pick up a hood from you. He drove 5 hours from Arizona. Big shout out to Adrian. He came out from Phoenix and he picked up a hood for his EF sedan, bro. 13 years he's had his car, and he's actually followed the channel since my sedan days, so he's definitely an OG for sure. But you know, life has been lifing. But anyways, we also went to go get dinner, and then we came back. Actually I came back and tried to welding up the mini pies for the wastegate. But my issue was I kept having a lot of like no coverage, a lot of contamination, because on Brian's setup he's running the FERC 14 and I usually run the 12 at about 25-30 CFM, and on his setup it was actually on 25 because he was doing aluminum, and I didn't change it to whatever the 14 required, which was 30-35. And once I finally set up the setting to have coverage, I already welded half of this through and it all gray welded up. It did sugar coat on the inside. We're not going to talk about that, but regardless of the fact, we got it all welded up right here, and now I got to figure out how to cut the slant for the teardrop. And I think simply for me, I'm just going to line it up with the up pipe here and try to get it to be as parallel as possible. And I'm just going to use this line right here to draw my line on the opposite side, and then we're going to throw this on the bandsaw to cut that teardrop. So I'm definitely gonna do this about a bajillion times because I ain't trying to mess this up. Get that teardrop, and then we cut it out. So I'm gonna draw this line 1,000 times until I'm satisfied by the way it looks, and then we'll get to cutting. Okay, yeah, it's gonna take me a minute. Set it and forget it. I don't know what the fuck that is, bro. Look at this. It's a pistol, dog. It's a pistol cannon from Warzone right now, bro.
It's a pea shooter.
It's literally a pea shooter, dog. All right, so I guess what we're gonna do now is we're gonna shape this into a tier, because, you know, I don't know what that is. All right, guys, back at it again here in the garage, working on Jose's K-Swap CB7. The dump tube, we cut it out right here last night, and I shaped it up into a teardrop. Not too happy about the way the welding machine was working with all the sugar coating that was happening, but if I clean it up, you're really not going to know. And then once this thing makes some boost, all the soot will kind of pile up on there to make it less hideous looking. And right now I can't really mock up the up pipe for the wastegate just yet, because the wastegate tubing is still in the way. So I'm going to be cutting this back at about the same length where it starts on the downpipe on the turn, right? And I'm gonna take the opportunity, the same thing I did with the up pipe, to cut pies on this straight before I cut the length off of it to kind of mock up this piece here. Brian was telling me that it looks good if it was just side by side. He did want to kind of overlay it a little bit over the dump pipe. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and pull the dump tube off the wastegate, cut some pies, mock everything up, and hopefully we can try to weld everything up today. Sometimes you just gotta improvise. When you don't have the big vise shipped in yet, you just make the B-roll mount out of some flat stock. Putting some B-rolls on the end of these pipes so that way it doesn't pop off under boost. This is what it looks like right here. See, it's all B-rolled. So all the ends, Brian's taking care of all of that right now. I think that was the last one. This one right here. These two guys actually are gonna be the one to get welded to the cooler. And that's going to be one piece right there to eliminate a bunch of couplers, and to also eliminate having these pipes way freaking long and then having a 90 to put it straight. So the last thing is just to clean up all this casting right here, mark it up one more time with all the piping in place, and then we're going to weld these two to this guy. And I already made the dump tube coming up. It needs a little mod as far as like getting it to slant together, but for the most part it is done. It's just loosely taped up, so you know this is all going to change once it's all tacked in place. But once we get everything fitted up one more time after the tack and it looks good, then we can weld these two pipes entirely together. But we are on a move. Whoosh. All right guys, so we have the up pipe and the dump tube all welded up. Now I'm not gonna lie to you guys, we were having some issues, and I don't know if it's like the argon, if it's the welding rod, the tungsten. We don't know if it's the glass lens. We don't know if it's the gas line. We've been having a lot of issues where I wasn't getting full coverage with the gas, and then there are times I'm able to run bead all the way across, and then it will just blow out like crazy. And we've been switching tungstens, cups, collets, like everything. And I said, you know what, it seems to be working fine with the 8, although I can't walk too far with the 8. I just went ahead and just ran as much as my wrist can flick. So the welds, not the craziest, prettiest, not the baddest I've ever done, but it's decent enough for what this car is doing, and I'm actually okay with the way it turned out. If I really didn't like it, trust me, I'd do it again, but this is okay, it's good enough. And the owner himself, actually, we sent him pictures and he's like Gucci with it, so you know what I'm saying, we're gonna rock with it. Dump tube going up, down pipe going up, technically up pipe. These guys are done, and Slimeball has been chipping away at all the intercooler stuff. So the last 2 pieces he needed to do was these bends right here, and I actually ran the first one on the cast aluminum end tank, and I was showing Slimeball how I was getting, you know, the thick material melted into the thin material, and then Slimeball knocked out the top one right there. He ran all the couplers, the T-bolts and everything. He also knocked out the blow-off valve right here as well too. Now mind you, there is no plumbing, because that's all the tedious little things that we got to just take care of and really once over with the car to make sure we don't forget anything, which we're going to do here off camera, like, you know, the rest of these T-bolts and stuff. But the biggest thing is to do the cold side and the hot side, and now those are both done. One of the other major thing that we need to do is get an IAT sensor bung. For an IAT sensor on a forced induction car, supercharged or turbo, you need a weld-on bung so you don't go blowing the sensor out as if you were all motor. You can just put a rubber grommet on there and, you know, just stick the IAT sensor in the pipe. But forced induction, you need a bung, so we need to order that. That's the last thing to weld on. But other than that, we are definitely making a ton of progress on this thing. Slimeball has been cutting the bumper and trimming it all to fit, and it now fits, but it's kind of hard to dangle the bumper on without a bumper support. And while I was welding, he was kind of fighting it, but I'm free now. We're going to take care of all the little things off camera, guys. The biggest goal, like I said in this video, is hot side, cold side. That is done. Hopefully he picks it up tomorrow, maybe the next day or so, but for the most part, what the car came in here for, it's done. K24 swap, CB7 Honda Accord, turbo. I'm pretty sure this car runs. If it does, I'll probably throw it at the end of the video. If it doesn't, then I guess we'll just say it's farewell when it goes on the trailer. But we are gonna wrap it up for tonight. It is 1 o'clock in the morning, and me and Brian has been working our booty off. It's past his bedtime. He needs to sleep. His back is talking to him like, yo, you need to put me in the bed like ASAP. But we're gonna wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this CB7 turbo Honda Accord K-swap. If you guys did, be sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you guys want to stick around for more progress update on Slimeball's 4-door EK all-wheel drive, we're going to be swapping this K24 in, and we're going to be doing a lot of preparation here to come. So if you guys want to see that, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.